We're getting you all the details that you need to know on the Indian and Chinese armies meeting, a crucial dialogue today in a fresh attempt to resolve the month-long bitter border standoff in eastern Ladakh. The Lieutenant General level dialogue will be held on the banks of the Pangong Tso, which is less than 20 kilometers from the biggest standoff point. Now in Ladakh, meanwhile, yesterday the two nations held diplomatic talks with an aim to resolve the standoff and agreed to also handle the issue through peaceful discussions. The talks held at joint secretary level stressed upon the fact that both sides should respect each other's sensitivities, concerns as well as aspirations in the talks. The two sides agreed to settle differences in accordance with guidance provided by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping at an informal summit in the Chinese city of Wuhan back in 2018. Abhishek Bhalla is joining us live this morning with all the latest that you need to know about this particular dialogue. Abhishek, good morning. 9 a.m. is when we're expecting that Lieutenant General level dialogue to happen. A lot, of course, that's at stake in this particular meeting. Previously, any dialogue which was held at the Major General level didn't really lead to any breakthrough. So we're hoping this time around things will be different.
Well, definitely, Akshita, this is a very crucial meeting of top commanders. There's a Lieutenant General who will be representing the Indian Army, and from the other side, it will be a Major General. But what it's being termed is as a co-commander level meeting. So definitely the level of the meeting has been enhanced. What India is hoping is to push for restoration of status quo. Now, what this means is officials say that we are seeking a situation, a position where things were in April, because it was in May when the build-up happened, the escalation happened, and the Chinese moved to forward areas closer to the line of actual control. And in some cases, like in Pangong Lake, they are actually sitting and camping in an area permanently, which was controlled by India until now. So that's the major concern, and India is hoping that status quo as on April end can be restored, and there can be a withdrawal of troops immediately, and all the shelters that have been constructed, bunkers that have been constructed, that can be removed as well.
Okay, Abhishek, because even as we're tracking very closely what happens in this particular meeting, we've learnt from top government sources that the Chinese standoff was not a spontaneous reaction of any sort to India's road construction in Ladakh. Recent reviews on the month-long standoff indicate that unusual activities were first noticed in about mid-April. The movement of troops and heavy vehicular traffic was noticed in early May. This was followed by a face-off in Pangong Tso and Nakula in northern Sikkim. All this took place within a gap of few days in May, leading to an escalation. So, Abhishek, all this while, there was a lot of talk by experts about this being a reaction really by the Chinese to the fact that we were developing these border areas, to the fact that we had a lot of infrastructure projects. But going by the intel information that we've picked up, it seems that this wasn't the offing. It was very well planned by the Chinese.
Yeah, there have been a lot of reviews done, Akshita, and some of the facts that have emerged is that there was unusual activity that was noticed first in mid-April. There were vehicular movement on the Chinese side, so there were signs of a true build-up. Now, whether that was linked to the escalation or not is still not clear, but there was certainly a lot of unusual things that had come to the notice of Indian agencies. Alarm bells had started to ring in early May, and that's when, on the 5th of May, when the face-off happened, I wouldn't say that we were expecting it, but this was in the offing, and agencies were sort of prepared for it, it seems, going by the recent reviews that have been done by various agencies.
Okay, Abhishek, thank you for joining us with those details. Our focus this morning is on the developments that's happening along the line of actual control, and also that crucial meeting that will be happening at 9 a.m. this morning in Chushul and Ladakh. Now, after having been surprised in a sense by the Chinese army, both at the Galwan Nala and Pangong Tso in the first week of May, our armed forces have now taken credible deployment measures all along the line of actual control, and not just in Ladakh. Gaurav Sawant gets you the details.
The Indian Army has moved 155mm howitzers, field guns and additional troops to strengthen the line of actual control after a face-off with Chinese troops at the Pangong Tso and Galwan Nala. Though the situation is understood to have eased at Galwan but remains the same at Pangong Tso, the army is clearly taking no chances. Troops have already been positioned along traditional flashpoints in Ladakh, including at Depsang in Chumar. Intelligence inputs had indicated the need for strengthening defences.
We must continue building up infrastructure on our own side of LAC to make life easy for our troops which are deployed along the LAC. Chinese have built their infrastructure. Capacity building takes time. Intentions can change overnight. And Chinese have shown their intentions quite clear.
The fact that the first face-off took place at Nakula in North Sikkim and was followed up by transgressions at multiple points in Ladakh point to a wider Chinese plot at the line of actual control. The Army and the Air Force quickly deployed additional forces at flashpoints and other important locations. In Chumar and Depsang in Ladakh, Parahoti in Uttarakhand, along multiple locations in North Sikkim and in Arunachal Pradesh.
जो अपने माउंटेन फॉर्मेशन है रिजर्व, जो हमारे इन्फेंट्री फॉर्मेशन है रिजर्व और जो हमारे आर्मर्ड फॉर्मेशंस हैं, उनमें से ऐसे दस्तों का और ट्रूप्स का गठन करें जो कि काफ़ी तेज़ी से इस इलाके में डिप्लॉय हो सकते हैं, जैसे कि मैकेनाइज्ड इन्फेंट्री, जैसे कि कुछ एयर डिफेंस के दस्ते, कुछ स्पेशल फोर्सेस के दस्ते, कुछ नेवी के दस्ते अगर ज़रूरत पड़ती है तो इन सबको हम उधर तुरंत मूव करें.
India has also deployed artillery, armor, infantry combat vehicles and additional battalions along the LAC to deal with any military adventurism. India's rapid mirror deployment has also sent out a signal about India's defense preparedness. Both Sukhoi 30 MKIs and Mirage 2000 fighter jets have been flying sorties along with heavy lift aircraft moving men and material ahead of talks between senior commanders of India and China at the Moldo border meeting point opposite Chushul in Ladakh. China wants to keep India confined to South Asia, but India's growing stature has the dragon rather uncomfortable. Its incursions, whether in Galwan Nala or Pangong Tso, are to put India on a back foot. But the army is now effectively deployed not just here but also at other flashpoints including Depsang, Chumar, Barahoti in Uttarakhand, North Sikkim and along the Arunachal border. India wants peace but with respect. With cameraman Kripal Singh in Delhi, Gaurav Sawant for India Today.
Now, ahead of the crucial India-China meet, listen in to two former army chiefs sharing their views in an exclusive conversation with Shibarur.
General Malik, to you first, sir. I'm going to come to the big picture as far as the imperative and the need for India and China to look at this as a situation where the border needs to be delineated in urgency, or else, skirmishes of this kind are going to continue indefinitely. But I want to ask you more immediately, sir, as a former Chief of Army Staff and a war general, might I add, what are you expecting, General Malik, from tomorrow's unprecedented Lieutenant General level talks between both sides in Chushul?
Shiv, although this is the first time that two lieutenant generals from either side will be meeting each other, I don't think at that rank people have met on the ground till now. But we have to remember that the army on the ground has got a very limited say as far as territory is concerned. And we have to stick to the territory that belongs to us. We have to talk about that. Army is not in a position to concede any territorial concession to the other side. So I do not know how much progress can be made. Anything to do with territorial progress will go back to either the diplomats or the political things. But they can have some harmony, they can exchange some good notes with each other, and that perhaps will also create conducive atmosphere for give and take if there is going to be any at the political level or at the diplomatic level.
General Malik, are you saying that nobody should expect any, spectacular breakthrough? As civilians, as lay viewers, the way it has been portrayed is, many levels of meetings have happened so far, and now you've got two wise lieutenant generals who are going to be holding this meeting. Is there going to be some big takeaway at the end of it, sir?
Look, both at Galwan as well as in the area of the 8 fingers, the fact is that the Chinese have crossed the line of control in one case, in Galwan case, and in the other case, they have come and occupied the area which is so-called disputed, because it is between the two perceptions of the line of actual control. So when they have come and occupied a particular position in strength, as far as the army is concerned, it cannot give away that area which has now been occupied. It has to ask for vacation of that area by the Chinese, and if they do not agree to that, there is nothing much that the army can do except to again throw the ball into the court, or throw the ball into the court of the diplomats and the politicians.
Okay, so clearing the decks for the diplomats and the politicians could be one way to look at what to expect from this. General Bikram Singh, is there any other end game that India is looking at as it heads into these talks, rather than a pre-May 2020 scenario? Basically returning to the pre-May 2020 status quo. Is that the aim of tomorrow's talks, sir, in your view?
Yeah, look, Shiv, firstly, thanks for having me over in your
Always
show.
Always a pleasure, sir.
The first question that you asked, I just want to clarify, build on what General Malik has said. He is very, clearly brought it out. But there are two facets to it. One is the border dispute, which is being dealt with at the political level.
Yes.
And that, the NSA, that level meeting takes place every year. And then you also have, one mechanism which came up after Rajiv Gandhi's visit to China. And that is basically that for consultation and coordination. So there are mechanisms which are dealing with the border issue at that highest level, at the national level.
Yes.
We are getting down to the tactical level where this thing is going on. The very fact that, both countries have agreed to meet at Lieutenant General's level, I feel that there is perhaps a desire to resolve it at the tactical level. So therefore, while I fully agree with what General Malik said, it's a political issue. It has to be dealt with at the political level, and diplomats will get involved. But in this, I think being slightly optimist, I would say there is a possibility that it will get resolved. But along with this, what is important is when China came in for these particular face-offs and intruded into our territory, there was a purpose for which it came. Has that purpose been served? That is what China is going to be looking at.
Yeah.
Because you see, let's be very clear. Upping the ante and ensuring a dialogue at the level of Lieutenant General, China has achieved what it wanted. But the point now is, with so many things on its plate, whether it is the international, sentiment that is going against China, the investigation into the pandemic, trade war with, and there is also a growing, I would say, sentiments in China which are not conducive to the image of Xi Jinping. Now, so this particular, incident was actually engineered to assuage the sentiments of the domestic population, and also to give a strategic message to India, and also indirectly to Pakistan, which is the strategic, a player, a strategic, one of their partners.
Absolutely.
So the point to say is, has China achieved what it wanted to achieve, or by doing this and prolonging this, procrastinating its resolution, is it going to be creating misery for itself when its plate is already full?
Yes.
So we have to see and wait and watch. But yes, I'm being an optimist. We should hope for the best tomorrow.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.